Hello, my name is Tracey-Anne Cooper, and I am your professor for your History 3130 Personalities in History Summer 1 online course. You're here, so that's probably pretty obvious. So congratulations, you passed the first step. You've got yourself to Blackboard, and you're watching this video, so the rest of it should be pretty easy. So this course is designed to think about how the old world was globalized. I think most students in school have probably studied ad nauseum the colonization by Europeans of the Americas, and perhaps not thought as intensely about how the various ends of Eurasia came into contact with each other, and then again how Eurasia and Africa interacted. So we're going to be looking at 5 biographies this summer, and first is this one, Genghis Khan. Okay, we should all have these books by now, hopefully. Um, Genghis Khan, the great Mongol war leader, made the biggest land empire ever, contiguous land empire, much bigger than the Roman Empire, and ruled it in a way that allowed subjects a little bit of freedom to have their own leaders, but usually alongside a Mongol leader. And one thing that was very important about Genghis Khan and the subsequent Mongolian Empire is that it allowed free trade from one end of his empire to the other. So basically, all the way from China to the Middle East and up into Russia. So there's a large area of the Russian landmass where goods and people could travel quite freely. So that's the first cog in the wheel of globalization. Next, we're going to look at, and I have to apologize, I move a bit weird. I have my arm in a sling. Next, we're going to look at Zheng He. You should probably remember this. Hopefully, you had a good History 1000 teacher who was a admiral for the Chinese Navy, took out on some occasions huge treasure fleets, and sailed around the Indian Ocean, visiting Indonesia, Ceylon, India, Arabia, and the East African coast, and basically showing up in a huge armada, the biggest armada that had been assembled before World War One, and intimidating people a little bit. They gave him tribute, and he gave them gifts back because that was the political thing to do. But basically saying, even though you've never really known very much about China, know now that it's much more powerful than you are, and therefore spread China's um, tribute payers around the Indian Ocean. So the next person we're going to look at is Jacques de Coeur, Jacques Coeur, who is, unlike Zheng He, who worked for the Chinese emperor, Zheng He was in business for himself. He was a French entrepreneur and merchant. Winds up working for the King of France as his personal shopper, basically, and but also ran diplomatic missions back and forth to nearer neighbours, but in the Eurasian landmass. Vasco da Gama is a very important person in our story. Vasco da Gama worked for the Portuguese, and he was the first European to sail around the bottom of Africa and rename the very bottom, which had been known as the Cape of Storms, to the Cape of Good Hope in South Africa. The Portuguese were pretty ruthless. There's still a lot of the crusading spirit in what they were trying to do, mingled with a mercantile spirit. So they are turning up in East Africa and eventually in India, and forcing people to trade with them, and also bringing Christianity. As one person said, the Buddha arrives riding a white animal, a white elephant. The Portuguese arrive riding cannonballs. So, okay, so that's Vasco da Gama. And then lastly, Ahmad al-Mansur, a Moroccan prince, who's operating in the 16th century, so this is 500 years or so after we begin the course. And he is really a political operator. He has diplomatic relations with French and English courts, the Ottoman courts and the Russian court, and is trying to figure out the North African kingdom of Morocco's place in this bigger geopolitical global world that's developing. He also expands his empire, takes over the kingdom of Songhai, and Songhai is very important in world history because that's the world's biggest gold mines. So he makes Morocco a very wealthy place as well, and a place that others would want to be involved in and listen to. Okay, so that's in a nutshell what we're going to be doing in the course. So I want to give you a little bit of instruction to familiarize yourself with Blackboard. Hopefully you've all used Blackboard before, or it's a kind of a, once you know how to do it, you know how to do it, but it can take a little while to get there. So but don't panic. I'm trying to make this as easy as possible. Hopefully I emailed you all a course manual, okay? The course manual is also embedded in the site as well, so you should print out the course manual and keep it separately, just in case you lose internet connectivity or bumped off the course for payment reasons or something like that. You need to still be able to get in touch with me. Okay, so everything you need to do is in the left-hand bar, where you're looking at me, grouped under activities and assignments or information. So under activities and assignments, you will see things laid out by topic, but also by date. So the first thing you will be doing is looking at the activities and assignments under Introduction, May 29th. That's the first day of class. And the next day, you will go to the left-hand bar and click on Topic 1, Genghis Khan, and there's the date range there as well, from May 30th to June 5th. Okay, so you can tell, like, by topic and by date, that's where you go. Okay, so when you've clicked on this in the left-hand bar, it will open up another window. Now, the first day it looks a bit odd because there's only one thing under it. But, for example, the next time you do this, it will be the Genghis Khan. It'll be the 4 days that we're going to be looking at Genghis Khan, and you'll have to select from there. Okay, so on the first day, you have a number of activities to do. And these mostly are to get you used to what you're going to be doing in the course. So blogging, all your assignments can be put in as blogs. I left really, I think, detailed instructions in the course manual about what I expect from these writing assignments. So whatever you do, don't just start writing, make sure you've read that first. The first blog is a little more loose than other assignments because I'm just asking you to introduce yourself, talk about some connection you have to history. This is just so we can take a look at each other and get to know each other. You should try really hard to put a picture of yourself in there. And I've left instructions there about how to put a picture of yourself in, then your classmates can see what you look like. Okay, so you'll be doing that Introduce Yourself blog. You'll be watching a video. And about every other day in the class, there's videos to watch. I'm not really that bothered when you watch these, as long as you've watched them in time to do the post on them. So if you decide that you want to watch them all for that week on a weekend and then do your little blog on them, then that's fine. Okay, you manage your time how it needs to be managed. So for every day, all assignments are due by midnight. So your blog has to be in. If there's a video that day, the video blog has to be done as well. Okay. So then the other thing that's in the left-hand bar is information, course information. So the calendar is there. This is a short version of the calendar when you want to look up and see what's due and what's coming up. On the course manual, I collected just about everything I think you could need to know, and particularly detailed instructions on what I expect from writing assignments, which gives examples of good, bad, and fair work. So you really should take a look at these. Really, you'll be doing yourself a big disservice if you don't study these carefully before you put your blog assignments in, because these are the criterion that I'm going to be grading at. And if you are making the mistakes that I've already pointed out, please don't make these mistakes, or are failing to accomplish those things which I say, please accomplish this in your post, then obviously your grade's going to be affected. So that's in the course manual. Under tools, that's where you'll find email and also where you'll find your grades. Okay, so on the first day of class, what you do is take a good look around the site, make sure you can figure out for yourself, so nothing comes as a surprise what's going to happen. And then do the first day's activities. So that's your introduce yourself blog, which has instructions. You need to tell us about yourself, but also about some connection you have to history. And then you watch a video, and then you do a video blog. So the video blogs is what you'll be doing after each time I've given you a video to watch. And I'm looking here for 3 things: engagement. Now, did you really engage, or did you just passively watch the movie? So think about how it relates to the course. And evaluation. You have to tell us in some way what you thought of the movie, and try to make that helpful. And I'm also looking for grammar and spelling. That's in any blog. Okay, so the next day and every day there afterwards, the first thing you will be doing is responding to the blogs of your peers. Okay, this is a very important part of the course. For your regular daily blogs, it's 20% of that blog grade is for the response you do the next day. So don't blow this off, or you're going to really screw up your grade. So I only want you to respond to 3 of your classmates. Now, there is an option for extra credit here, and that's that you would consistently respond to 5 blogs. So there's, I don't know if I remember, about 21 blogs due or something like that of the course. So if you respond 15 times to at least 5, then I'll give you 5% extra credit. That's the only extra credit that's going to be offered in the course. The responses need to be substantial. They need to further the discussion, and they need to engage in what the student has posted. So it has to actually talk about what the student said and further the discussion. Okay, so those are my criterion for that. Okay, what else was I going to talk about? At the end of every reading, you do a question blog. I've given you a question. So this has to be a historical analysis. It has to be an historical argument backed up with evidence. I'm looking for good grammar and spelling, and then you'll get the grade once you've completed the responses to at least 3 students, 5 if you're going for extra credit the next day. Okay, so that's all kind of in one package. The only other exercise is an important one too. At the end of every reading, every book, you'll be asked to do a topic blog. Now, this is original research. So for this, it doesn't the results shouldn't be that long. It should only be a page, page and a half. But it takes one tiny little corner of something that you've read in your in the book and explores it. Okay, so the point is that you shouldn't just be spouting back to us something we already know or already read. You should have actually engaged in something and brought something new to the table which wasn't there before. So you've got to make sure that this isn't a report, okay? So you need to, and I laid this out in the course manual as well. So you need to, for example, Mongolian camels is a topic, okay? But that's not good enough, okay? That would lead you to write a Wikipedia-style encyclopedic report on Mongolian camels. So you then need to develop a research question. What was the role of Mongolian camels in the Mongolian economy? That's the research question, okay? Still not good enough because it's still a question. What you need to do is then answer the question. Okay, so the answer would be Mongolian camels are more important in terms of trade than in providing the necessities of life, as were sheep, goat, and horses. Something like that, okay? So you've actually got a thesis, and then you go on to prove the thesis with evidence. Okay, so you begin your research from good sources. So you should be using JSTOR, ProQuest, Google Books, etc. If you're near a library, by all means, go to a library. But if you're not, you can probably get what you want from journal articles and from print books. Okay, shy away from websites. If you have a website that's got a .edu, that's fine. National Geographic, PBS, BBC, probably fine. But the majority of your stuff needs to come from print sources. You can get them via the internet, but they should have been printed at some point in time, so books and journals. If you don't know how to do this, I know most of you in the class, and I think most of you have a good idea. Please email me. I'll do another little video and tell you how to access these things. It's very important that you've done some research. And then you write it up, and it only has to be like a page and a half. But the point is, it's some part of this that we haven't looked at before. We don't know, okay? So it has to be original and further the discussion, okay? So that's the last kind of assignment you have. And then finally, on the last day of class, which is July the 2nd, you have a final paper due. And this, again, you will be submitting in the form of a blog. And the question is on the website. It basically asks you, so, do these great men that we've been looking at, do these great men shape history, or does history shape them? Okay, so that's a 5-page paper that's due on the last day of class. Okay, so that's about it. That's what I can tell you. Hopefully that made sense. If it didn't make sense when you read it. So contact me if you need anything. That's Cooper T, COOPERT at stjohns.edu. If you do not have the first book, again, this Khan book, please contact me. I have the first couple of chapters that I can make available for you. But you really need to have these books in hand by the start of the course. That's it. I can't think of anything else to say. So again, welcome. I hope we have fun together. And a real key part of success and enjoyment in an online course is that you go beyond the perfunctory. If you are asked, for 300 words and you just dash off the first 300 words that come into your head, you're not really going to get what you need to get in the course. Then again, if you just, know you've got to log on and read other people's work and find something to say about it, that attitude is just going to spoil the summer, So just make sure you block off the time that you need to do this. Try to engage in the material. Try to excel in your writing. Don't just be perfunctory. And take an interest in what other students are doing. Okay, so that would be my big piece of advice. Just go a little bit beyond what you might do in a class situation, because that's the only interaction you're going to get. Okay, so that's it. So welcome, and here's to a successful summer.